A subscriber named Malcolm asked me to make a video about why men need street smarts in their lives. Malcolm, I appreciate the support. This video is for you. One of the hardest truths a man eventually learns in life is you can be educated, you can have a good job, you can make good money, you can even be a good person, and you can still be dangerously naive. When I talk about street smarts today, it's not about acting tough. It doesn't mean you grew up in a certain neighborhood, and it's definitely not about looking for trouble. Street smarts is more about your ability to read people, understand different situations, recognize potential danger, and make good decisions before a bad situation even begins. Once you get north of 40, being naive can be very expensive. It can cost you your money, it can cost you your relationships, it can even cost you your reputation. And in the wrong situation, it can cost you much more than that. So here are 7 street smart rules that every man should understand. Rule number 1, always watch what people do, not what they say. This first rule is very simple. Stop allowing people's words to outweigh the behavior. People, men and women, they'll tell you who they want you to believe they are, but their patterns will show you who they actually are. A person can tell you that they respect you, but they'll disregard your time. That's not respect. They can tell you that they love you, but then they turn around and only contact you when they need something. They could tell you that they're going to pay you back, and then you'll see them do things, handling their responsibilities, and suddenly forgetting that they owe you, or being too busy, or not having it, but taking trips, buying gifts, and living a certain lifestyle, knowing that they still owe you. You gotta stop evaluating people on their promise. You gotta evaluate them on their actions. A simple way to do that sometimes is just wait for the evidence. People will show you who they are. Listen to what people say, but make your decisions based off what people do. Believe the patterns. Rule number 2, stop telling everybody everything. A lot of men get themselves in trouble because they reveal too much too quickly. They talk about how much money they make. They announce every opportunity before it's finalized. They tell new people they just met about their family problems, their weaknesses, plans, relationships, even personal business that is uncalled for when you're just meeting someone. And then they get surprised at what is used against them later. This is a hard lesson I learned personally from even dealing with women in relationships, sharing too much, because the person you begin to date, the person in a relationship is not the same person you break up with. And some of the worst things that have ever been said to me are things I told a woman that I trusted and loved in a relationship, and then she used it against me just to cut me so deep. Privacy is not dishonesty. Privacy is discipline. Not everybody who asks you a question deserves a complete, detailed answer. You don't have to lie. You just have to understand how much access a certain person should have. More important, a good rule is the more important something is to you should also equal the more careful you are with who has access to that information. Access must be earned. Rule number 3, pay attention to manufactured urgency. One of the easiest ways people try to manipulate people, and you see this a lot in sales, is they try to create a sense of urgency or a sense of scarcity. You have to send the money right now. You have to buy right now. Only limited spots remaining. This opportunity will be gone in an hour. If you really cared about me, you would do it right now. Urgency shuts down judgment of the asker sometimes, right? That urgency creates a quicker decision without less thought to detail and cause and effect outcomes. And this is exactly why the scammers and the dishonest salespeople use these tactics. They don't want you to think. They don't want you to call somebody. They don't want you to get a second opinion. They don't want you to sleep on the decision. They want an immediate response, and they have a chance, 50. You're going to say yes or no. As opposed to if you think about it and you take time, it might go 80-20, it might go 10-90 or even less. Anytime somebody's pressuring you, slow down. Don't ever feel pressured. You see this a lot overseas and traveling and haggling. People try to come up to you and say, hey, I'll give it to you for this much. And if you walk away and say, no, I don't have any cash or anything, they'll say how much you got, and they'll be more likely to do a deal. You are in control. If somebody's asking you for something, just realize you are in control. You have the ability to make the decision you want to make. It's best to try to get details in writing if you can. If it's a situation, especially involving finances, be willing to walk away. One thing I've learned in life is that rushing into the wrong opportunity too fast without doing your own due diligence and thinking about it, it can be a very expensive mistake, and it's not worth it. It's better to just sit out and miss out on something than to rush in on the wrong thing. Rule number 4, recognize when your boundaries are being tested. Most people don't start off by making these disrespectful requests. They start small. They'll show up late and see if you say anything. They'll borrow something small and just forget to return it. They make a disrespectful joke and they'll wait to see what your reaction is. They'll ask for a favor that's just slightly unreasonable. See how you respond. They violate a small boundary and determine whether a larger boundary exists. This happens at work. This happens in friendships. It even happens in families. This definitely happens in romantic relationships. Street smart men address small problems before they become big ones, before they become established patterns. This doesn't mean you got to be aggressive. That's not what this means at all. It means you pointing something out. You see something and you express it. You make it clear that this doesn't work for me. You don't speak to me that way. I can't do that. No is the answer. One word. You don't have to have a 5-minute explanation when you don't want to do something. You don't have to have a 5-minute explanation on why somebody doing something that you don't like needs to stop. Small tests will become big problems if you let it. Rule number 5, always control your emotions before somebody can control you through them. A man who cannot control his anger can be easily controlled. I tell my son this every day. You have to control your emotions as a man. You have to control your emotions, whether it be in sports, whether it be in your day-to-day life, whether it be just with yourself. You have to control your emotions. If all someone has to do is insult you, try to embarrass you, challenge your ego, or disrespect you in front of other people, and that sets you off, you are not in control. You're a puppet. And now you may be dealing with consequences of your actions that could have been stopped, that could have been controlled if you just controlled yourself. When somebody finds out what buttons they can push to make you abandon the thought processes, abandon how you move and how you think and how you operate, they have power over you. Street smarts requires emotional discipline. You have to be able to pause when you feel like you're about to become activated. You have to be able to slow time down and just think about, hey, if I do this, X, Y, and Z may occur. And is it really worth it? Is this a hill that I'm willing to let things happen outside of my control on? Or is it really a small thing in the grand scheme of things? Another thing is you don't have to win every argument. You don't even have to win every fight. Sometimes the strongest thing and the best thing a man can do is to leave with freedom, with money, and time still intact. Just walk away. Don't let your ego choose for you. Rule number 6, always know where the exits are. It's literally and figuratively. This is 101. When you enter an unfamiliar place, take a second to look around, high and low, front to back. Know where you're parked. Know how many exits are to that parking lot. Pay attention to who is near you. Whether you're in a car and you see people sitting in their car, when you're inside a building, pay attention to who's paying attention to you as well. Don't walk through parking lots completely absorbed in your phone. Don't move through spaces just absorbed in your phone, especially when you're with other people that are looking for you to protect them. Don't walk with headphones on, AirPods blasting music, and you can't hear sounds around you. When you're meeting somebody in person, never exchange money or do things involving business privately. Try to do so in a public place. Whether it be for a Facebook marketplace sale, you can go to your local police station. If you're selling something, they have cameras there to make the process a little bit safer. If you're selling some furniture, I wouldn't recommend having people come to your house unless you plan on moving from that place. Because you never know how people will pay attention to little things and try to use that against you. I remember I was in my 20s and I had a nice car. I had a car that I had took so much pride in, and I even had put a TV inside this car. I had a nice stereo system. I gave somebody a ride to work one day, one of my neighbors who I thought I saw walking. It was raining and he was late. He missed the bus. I gave him a ride to work. He rode with me. Watched TV in the car. We had a great conversation. Not even 2 days later, TV and the system in my car was stolen. And this kid denied it, but I know he had something to do with it because I saw he had friends in the neighborhood and they looked like they were very nefarious. So they lined me up. That was a tough lesson to learn. And while I may be less likely to give another person a ride because of this experience, it's on me because I made that choice and I have to live with those consequences. But this also applies to anything in life. Before you enter into an agreement, know also how you can get out of it if you need to. That's why some of these gyms have these 12-month contracts. They try to lock you in and they tell you got to jump through hoops if you want to cancel it early. That's why a lot of places even stop doing that, or they offer a month clause, because people who are smart, we don't like to be locked into contracts, especially with these businesses that are trying to take advantage of you. Before you loan somebody money, decide what's going to happen if they don't pay you. I don't personally loan money that I will feel different about if they don't pay me back. And that number fluctuates between the relationship, what I have with people. But if I give somebody some money, and it even doesn't matter necessarily if they have paid me back in the past or not. It depends on where I am in my life and what I feel comfortable with. And also knowing that, hey, if this person doesn't repay this money, will it affect our friendship going forward? Before you move in with somebody, before you sign a loan, before you co-sign anything, a business deal, anything, understand how do you exit if that need arises, because you never know what may happen in life, and what may be good today may not be good tomorrow. And that's why I believe that prenups should be a standard. Prenuptials should always be a standard. They should be included, because every relationship romantically ends in either somebody breaking up, a divorce, or the end. Somebody transitions on to heaven. So knowing how things will go in the end just makes the relationship so much smoother. Because like I said, the person you enter a relationship with in the beginning, especially romantic, is not always the same person that you end up with. And that person could be a total stranger, and they won't have your best interest at heart. That's why it's important to always protect your options. Number 7, and the final one, is to trust discomfort before you can explain it fully. What does that mean? That means if you go somewhere, you get a bad feeling, trust your feeling. Trust that gut. That's why it's called trust your gut. If somebody's story doesn't quite connect, if the energy changes when you ask certain questions, if they're trying to be too familiar too soon, these are all causes for concern, and you have to take that into account into your decision making, or else. Even if nothing has technically happened yet, but it feels wrong, give yourself the option, give yourself the ability to separate yourself. That doesn't mean you're going around accusing people without evidence. It just means you slow down. You create a little bit of distance. You ask more questions. You verify what's being told to you. You see it in writing. And you avoid committing yourself to something that you don't understand or that you aren't certain about. You don't have to prove somebody's dangerous before deciding that they don't need access to you. That discomfort, that's information. The older I get, you learn that street smarts isn't really necessarily about environment. It's about your discernment in all things. Knowing when to speak, knowing when to be quiet, when to ask questions, when to say no, when to leave, when to stop giving somebody the benefit of the doubt after they've shown you a pattern. A good man doesn't have to be suspicious of everyone, but a smart man also understands that everybody doesn't believe what he does and thinks how he does. You have to learn that your good intentions does not guarantee everybody else's good intentions. Your loyalty does not guarantee their loyalty. Your honesty doesn't mean that everybody who approaches you is being honest. Stay kind, stay respectful, stay open to good people, but remain aware. Being smart can help you build a life. Being street smart will help you protect it. I want to say, Malcolm, thank you again for this awesome video idea. Hopefully I took the time and I hit some points that made sense and that you'll agree that are important for men to know, young men to know, and that us men over 40 can all agree with. If you have other ones that I missed or you think are important for men, please put them in the comments, man. Let's help each other out. This is No for 40. I'll be back real soon. I apologize for the brief delay. I had to get my son back in school and to spend more time with him blocking down our routine, but I'm back and we'll be posting more. Thank you guys, and until the next time, peace.